Well, thank you very much, Paul, and your co-presenters for that. Now, we are technically just about on time now without questions, but it would be nice if anyone has got any questions to ask to do so now. Has anyone got a question they want to put to Paul or one of his colleagues? Yes. Can you, before you ask your question, give us your name and your affiliation too?
Sure. Thank you. My name is Nico van Belsen from Ulster Europe. I'm a question for the presenters, especially with regard to the DNA identification of fish, because in principle this could be falsified by spiking by for instance, PCR amplified pieces of the right markers. So did you indeed include in your detection strategy some ways to potentially prevent such kind of falsification of the signal?
Falsification. Is there a way, Jan?
So actually what you mean to say is that you have a product which is intentionally spiked with fish species. But my first question would be, why would you do this? I mean, what I can answer to this is what you could do using DNA technologies, first of all, is to see what kind of species are in there, what is your product spiked. So this was the last example I gave, and when I explained the range of products you can examine. It is indeed imaginable that you have a food product, and maybe this answers your question, which has to some extent it contains what it should contain, but also it is spiked with less valuable fish species, for example. And indeed you can use DNA marker analysis in order to dissect your product and to see what's really in there. And you can say, of course, to the producer, well, that's all very fine. You have some cod fillets in there, but unfortunately there's also a huge amount of catfish.
Now, perhaps I need to become a bit more specific, but the nice thing of DNA technology is that you can amplify DNA artificially. So you take the DNA of a high-value fish, you amplify it precisely those markers that you are being testing for. And this amplified DNA, you incorporate in your combined fish product. And in that way it would be able for a molecular biologist to falsify fish materials.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
That's actually a very sophisticated fraud scheme you're proposing here. Well, honestly, I didn't really think that somebody would come up with this. Now, if this happens, the nice thing about PCR amplification is also that you can really detect minute sort of contamination. So I think there's no way that you can spike your sample artificially with DNA maybe from a high-priced value fish, under which label you sell it, and the investigator is not capable of detecting the real underlying product. I don't think so, really. And also there is a problem, if you talk about product, if you just put the DNA in like that, it's more vulnerable probably to the processing, be it like canning or salting or whatever you have. So it will be more prone to degradation. But thank you very much for raising this question. I will think more about it.
I know this is a very sophisticated fraud scheme. I hope it hasn't given anyone any ideas sitting in this room. If it does happen, I mean, everyone in this room is going to look at where we will fall under suspicion. Time for one more question, if there is one. Anyone, any more fraud schemes anyone wants to ask about? I would just like to ask one thing, Paul. I can't help feeling that some of this technology is rather expensive, certainly very sophisticated, rather expensive. Who bears the cost of this? I mean, is it inevitably going to be passed on to the consumer, do you think?
I'm afraid, I suppose the answer to that question is quite easy, yes. But I think you'll have to ask the question. Some of the research that certainly Simon was talking about was taking, providing industry with what looks like an extremely expensive way of doing their work through provision of databases or whatever. But using this technology, because Trace has done this sort of groundwork of understanding the relationships, that actually you end up with a system where people will be able to trade in specifications. So the only time they will actually have to go to a laboratory, they could use that sort of website and say, I want these sort of specifications for this product from a particular country, you know, and now and again I might check that specification. Now that's much cheaper and provides a robust sort of verification to the consumer that all of these products that are dominating now the supermarkets are really what they say they are.
Right.
So the consumer has added confidence, and those consumers that want to buy those products will have confidence that they really are those.
Which is worth paying for.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you very much, and your colleagues as well. As you said, you can go and see them on the exhibition stands and get more information if you want it there. Well, now then, our focus turns to the topic that really is at the heart of this meeting today. I think probably certainly closest to the heart of many European citizens, and that is safety. So please welcome Kieran Jordan and Kay Burgess from the Shagask Food Research Centre in Ireland.